Hey, how's it going, YouTube? Back with another video. And today, I'm going to be dissecting the Steelers vs. Giants Week 1 matchup. So I consider myself a Steelers fan, a huge Steelers fan, as a matter of fact. And I like talking about this team to anybody. I like talking about football, which is why I have this YouTube channel. And I'm just going to be talking about the Week 1 matchup. So I think I might do this with every game that they play this year, including playoffs, obviously, debatably Super Bowl. But I'm definitely going to be dissecting every Steelers game because that's what I like to do. That's what I like to talk about. And I think, the Steelers got a good team this year, so why not talk about them? Before we get into the video, I'd just like to say that I really appreciate all the support, the subs. We're halfway there to 1,000, but we need more. And I'm not begging, but please hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate everything that you guys have done. And I just like to see this channel grow more and more and more. And thank you to all the current subscribers. I appreciate it. So let's get into the video. So the Steelers, obviously this team is good, and I think they have potential to be really good this season. This team went 8-8 last year, and that was with the 29th worst, or I guess you could say best offense in the NFL last year. 29th. That is third to last in the NFL, with Mason Rudolph, Duck Hodges, the 29th worst or best offense in the league. This team went 8-8 with a winning record, and you wonder why. There's two reasons. Number one, the coaching staff, Mike Tomlin, made very, very great decisions throughout the season, and obviously that leads to Minkah Fitzpatrick and the Steelers defense. One of the best pickups for this team, obviously, and this defense is unstoppable. One very, very interesting stat that I recently saw is that on 19% of opposing drives against the Steelers, 19%, the opponent turned the ball over, turned it over. Fumble, interception, anything like that. That is 19% of all drives throughout their entire season. This shows how great this team played last year, and I expect it to play the same again. With that kind of defense and Big Ben back, Chase Claypool adding to the receivers, Eric Ebron added, this team is going to look deadly. You can't deny the facts. So let's start with Week 1, New York Giants, Pittsburgh Steelers. So off the bat, I want to tell you what NFL analysts predict on this game. They're predicting the Steelers to win this game by 3 points at the New York Giants Stadium. I guess you can say that's important to point out because it shows that many people think the Steelers are going to be good. Even though the Giants aren't really a good team, it's on the road and the Giants could easily win. But this just shows that the Steelers are the favored team to win, even with, the underrated offense that they have right now. So I guess that's important to point out off the bat. 3 points, though, I'm not going to say this, but I don't really like what predictions people make. I don't like it at all. Like, if you're going to win by this amount of points, that amount of points, I don't really like that. Because, it never happens, and it never will. Rarely, I cannot say that word, but rarely, NFL analysts do get this right. They do get, the point differential right, all that kind of stuff. But honestly, it's just never right because NFL teams are better than you think they are. Sometimes, obviously, there are teams that who are going to win. But sometimes the underdog comes out on top and it happens in the weirdest scenario. So you can never, ever trust that kind of stuff. Point differentials, all that kind of stuff. Never trust it. But the Steelers are projected to win this game by 3. Let's take that in consideration. So let's talk about these two teams' defenses first. So obviously the Steelers defense with, I think, the best defense in the NFL. That is definitely a plus. Obviously, you want to have the best defense because defense wins championships. And I think they have a shot at winning the championship this year. So starting with their defense, obviously I think they have one of the best defensive players in the league. TJ Watt, and top 10, Minkah Fitzpatrick. When you have two of the best defensive players in the league on one defense, it just shows how good this team is. Along with Cam Hayward, debatably in that list, and top 10. I'd say Cam Hayward's top 25 defensive player in the NFL. This Steelers defense is stacked already with 3 great players. TJ Watt, debatably defensive player of the year this year. We're going to have to see what. But I truly do think TJ Watt is probably the most likely to win Defensive Player of the Year. And no joke, he probably will. And I think he was a runner-up last year, and he probably is going to have an insane season again. Obviously, Minkah Fitzpatrick, Joe Hayden, Steven Nelson, and Terrell Edmonds in the backfield, the secondary, the corners, the safeties. it's locked down. The Steelers defense their secondary is so good. They cannot pass the ball. Like I said, 19% of drives against the Steelers defense were turnovers, and you have to wonder why. It's because Joe Hayden, Micah Fitzpatrick, Steven Nelson, and Terrell Edmonds, who do not give up big plays. This team went on, I think, it gave up over 230 passing yards a game. And then when they got Minka, around 130. That just shows how good this team was after Minka was traded. And it was a very good trade. This defense is stacked. So obviously, the defensive line, I think it's pretty good. It's the best in the league. Like, hands down, it's number one in the league. Defensive line, number one. It doesn't give up rushing plays. It gets sacks every game. With Stephon Tuitt, Cam Hayward, Dan McCullers, and that defensive line is just stacked right there, easily. Chris Wormley is questionable. I think he was traded from the Ravens. It's a good pickup. Tyson Alualu is going to have a good season if he starts. But obviously the linebackers, TJ Watt. Can't say enough about this dude. Defensive Player of the Year. I bet money on it. Devin Bush, a rookie last year, he's going to have another good season. And I think Devin Bush is going to have the most improvement on this team besides Ben Roethlisberger, who's obviously out last year. And most importantly, Bud Dupree. Bud Dupree, a beast, a linebacker who got, I think, around 13 sacks last year or 11 sacks. And this was with TJ Watt at help. So his team was a sack machine. Bud Dupree, TJ Watt were unstoppable. It was sack after sack after sack. Cam Hayward was such a good player for this defensive line. Can't say enough about this defense. But we have to talk about the other team they're playing, the Giants defense. And honestly, not even joking when I say this. I'm not saying this because they're playing the Giants. But when I think of the worst defense in the NFL, I immediately think of the New York Giants. I immediately think that. And looking at the players on this defense, I'm like, what even is this? It's a joke, in my opinion. With Jabril Peppers at strong safety, Julian Love, I've never even heard of him. James Bradbury, I guess you can say he's decent. Dexter Lawrence, defensive line. Dalvin Tomlinson, defensive line, nose tackle. Leonard Williams, defensive end. Like, what is this? This defense is definitely a joke. There's a reason why the Giants had one of the worst records in the NFL last year. And I'm not even saying this because the Steelers are playing the Giants. Like, I firmly believe the Giants have the worst defense in the NFL. And obviously, who has the better defense? Come on. The best defense in the NFL goes to Pittsburgh. But there's a reason why the Giants, some people think they might be good. It's because of their offense. And with debatably one of the worst defenses I've ever seen in my life, the Giants' offense makes up for it because it looks pretty good. So to summarize all that up, the Steelers' defense has the Giants beaten in every category, and they will during this game. What's going to happen? The Steelers' defense is going to get to Daniel Jones. The Steelers' defense is going to pick off Daniel Jones. The Steelers' defense is not going to give up any rushing yards to Saquon. The Steelers' defense is not going to allow Sterling Shepard, Golden Tate, and Darius Slayton to get open. Or will they? Will the Steelers' defense choke week one? We're just going to have to see. Which brings me to the offenses. The Steelers' offense is good, but is it good enough? Is the Giants' offense good? I don't know. We're going to have to see. So, let's start with the Giants. Honestly, like I said, I think the Giants have the worst defense in the league, and that's why they lose every game. It's because it's so bad. It's unbelievably bad. But we look at the Giants' offense, it makes up for it, like I said. Besides the quarterback, which I do not like, I don't think Daniel Jones is good, but besides Daniel Jones, this offense is actually very, very good. Saquon Barkley, in my opinion, tough. I think he's the fourth best running back in the league, maybe third on a good day. Saquon Barkley is a monster, and he single-handedly carries his team sometimes. Sterling Shepard, if he stays healthy the whole year, he's going to be a monster for them, along with Darius Slayton, I think, is the second best receiver on this team. But Golden Tate, obviously not underrating him, but he didn't have the best year, but I think he could have a big influence on this team again. With three, I guess you could say pretty decent wide receivers, a very, very good running back, and a very good tight end, Evan Ingram. This team has very, very talented offensive players, along with that offensive line, which was, I think, garbage last year. And that's probably why their offensive, why Saquon couldn't run the ball as much as he wanted to, why Daniel Jones was sacked, why he was throwing interceptions because of all the pressure, which is why they drafted left tackle Andrew Thomas, which is going to help, I guess you could say, he's not going to be an all-star week 1 against the Steelers. But Andrew Thomas, this team has a future offensively. Their defense is horrible though. But would I say that this team has a better offense than the Steelers? It's a good question, but honestly, it could. The Steelers' offense, it's got really good players. Ben Roethlisberger, who I believe will win Comeback Player of the Year if he's healthy the whole season. Ben Roethlisberger, I think he could win the MVP this year if he leads the Steelers team to a very good record. This dude has 5,000 passing yards in 2018, and I don't expect him to play bad. Obviously, the wide receivers, Juju Smith-Schuster, a monster in 2018. James Washington, a deep threat who led the team in passing yards last year. And I think that Deontay Johnson has star potential in this league. He could be the next AB. This dude is so good. He's so underrated. But with Mason Rudolph and Devlin Hodges as your QB last year, he couldn't show off his skills. But I believe if Deontay Johnson had Ben as his QB, I think he would have been the best rookie receiver last year with the most passing yards, receiving yards. So Deontay Johnson, an interesting stat is that he led the league, not rookies, led the league in separation against a defender. And this is just an amazing thing to take into consideration because when he's downfield, he's open every time. But with Mason Rudolph, Devlin Hodges, don't expect Deontay Johnson to get many yards. But with Big Ben, he's going to be a star. Obviously, they got Chase Claypool. An interesting pick because it allows Juju to play in the slot where he belongs to play. And it's very, very good for Juju Smith-Schuster. Could help him a lot. Chase Claypool, he's 6'4", 200, I don't know. He's huge. He's fast. He's huge. I believe this dude's going to be a monster in the making. Come on now. But this is week 1. You got to take in consideration Ben hasn't played in a long time. Juju, James, Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool haven't played with Ben in, a year and a half. Chase Claypool is a rookie. But obviously they got Eric Ebron, a red zone monster as a tight end. Vance McDonald. This is going to be a very dangerous offense, in my opinion, with probably one of the best offensive lines with Marquise Pouncey, Alejandro Villanueva, David DeCastro, all Pro Bowlers once in their career. And David DeCastro and Marquise Pouncey are especially Pro Bowlers. They are consistently good. This team has a future and a potential to be good. But it's week 1. Are they going to click like they should against this Giants offense and defense? So let's compare these offenses. Obviously, I think the Giants have a very good offense with very talented players. Saquon, Evan Ingram, Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton. It's talented. But the Steelers, they have a better offensive line. And I forgot to mention James Conner. Obviously, if he stays healthy, he's going to be a monster. Can't deny the facts. He was a Pro Bowler in 2018. He's going to be a monster. That's all that matters. With Big Ben back, this team's going to be good. But Saquon's obviously better than James Conner. But the receivers in Pittsburgh, I think, could be better than the receivers in New York. The tight end, Evan Ingram is very good. But Eric Ebron was underappreciated with Jacoby Brissett as a QB. So Eric Ebron could be better. We're going to have to see. But week one, that's all that matters, week 1. Who's going to play better? The offense for the Steelers or the Giants? I honestly believe the Giants offense is going to play better this game. It's a home game for them. They have the same players as last year. They have Daniel Jones, who started, I believe, 12 games last year. It should play good, and I think it will. But is it going to play good enough to outsmart the Steelers' defense? Of course it's not, and that's all that matters, because defense wins championships. The Steelers' defense, even though the Steelers' offense might not play good, if the Steelers' defense plays good, which it will, it's going to win this game, and that's all that matters. If the Steelers' offense literally plays like garbage, debatably like the worst it's ever played with Big Ben, coming back from a year and a half. If they play that bad, and I think it's a possibility, if they do play that bad, the Steelers could lose this game and could easily lose it. But all that matters, in my opinion, it's not the Steelers' offense, but the Steelers' defense. A defense which can single-handedly carry a game. They don't even need the offense. The Steelers' defense is so good. I expect multiple sacks, multiple fumbles, multiple turnovers for the Steelers' defense, and that's why I think the Steelers are going to win this game. Let's say Big Ben is playing like a monster. Let's say the offense is lighting it up. I believe the Steelers could win this game by 40. But if he's not, I think the Steelers are going to win this game by a touchdown or 10 points because of the defense, and that's all that matters. So that's really it. I can't wait till the season starts, and I honestly just hope that the season doesn't have any complications, including delays or any of that kind of stuff. But if it does, I understand why. But still, September 14th, Monday Night Football. Can't wait. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Adios.